Hi, this is Jason Carpenter, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of Ascribe. Ascribe was designed for the AEC industry, the architectural engineering and construction industry, as well as the residential industry, construction industry as well. It's a recognition that we are now entering the third phase of the web, the phase which has been termed Web 2.0. But what it really means is we're going to begin to find information about companies and people by reference, and that is connections and validity on the web versus just blind searching. Now, this is a phase that the construction industry can finally begin to get real value out of their websites, get traffic, and potentially even new business. I know many of us out there, we came from an engineering firm that has the same idea that, hey, we're not going to get our next business, next opportunity from our website. Well, Ascribe can really change that and increase your brand recognition, increase your web traffic. Well, really, I think you'll see once you dive into Ascribe that you'll question why even have a website without it. Here's an example of what is happening in the industry right now as Ascribe begins to grow. Somebody browsing, in this case, a construction company's website, construction manager, looking at their portfolio of medical projects here and going to a specific project. Everything is normal except on the left-hand side you see other project contributors. Design Plus, Architect, Classic Engineering, Structural Engineering. You see the product supplier and an electrical contractor and so on. Ascribe leverages the inherent networks that we already have in this industry. That's what we can use as an industry, as individual companies, to stand out on the web. One of the best ways that we market ourselves on the web, or market ourselves in general, is that projects themselves, our past experience, can gain us new work. People want to know, what have you done? People also want to know, who do you work with? And Ascribe can amplify both of those ideas on the web. So this person clicks on that logo of, in this case, Plune Mechanical, and continues to browse. And again, we see down at the bottom of their project section, other project contributors. These links and these link logo combinations are done automatically through Ascribe. What they do, as far as the benefit for Plune, is not so much that the links are showing on their site, it's the fact that now every one of those companies at the bottom are showing off Plune's logo and link back to their site. So what is Ascribe? Ascribe, in its simplest form, is a content manager. It plugs into your existing website and allows you to manipulate and change and update your project section of your website. It works seamlessly with a website, so a user browsing your website doesn't know Ascribe exists. Secondly, it is a marketing tool. For the construction industry, to have a website without leveraging the network is really hard to justify. We have a network, we have companies we work with around projects. Ascribe lets you collaborate around a project and share links back and forth with non-competing companies. Normally, this would be a monumental task to handle, and Ascribe automates that. It also, again, will amplify two of the most important things in marketing for this type of industry, for the professional services, is that, hey, show me what you've done and who do you work with. So why use it? The first thing, it will build a reciprocal link network around your project, creating hundreds of links pointing back to your website. It will increase your brand exposure on the web. Your logo, if you compare this to, because it is about the cost of one ad in the paper, in the local business rags. So for 1 year subscription of Ascribe costs you about the same as buying an ad in the paper. It's similar in that you increase your brand recognition, your brand exposure, but with Ascribe, it's all year, it's on hundreds of websites, And those links, of course, also drive traffic to your website and actually, by default, greatly increase your search engine ranking. So if somebody's looking for a service or a project or your company name, you're far more likely to come to the top of the list when somebody does search. If you don't have a website, Ascribe will actually create a home page for you for free. And now that the projects have begun to pile into Ascribe for companies to broadcast their own, into their own website, that information now can show up on many other major websites, which we can elaborate on, that you didn't have to do any more work for, but now your link, your logo, and your project are showing up on major association websites, municipalities, any interest group that has an interest in showing a directory of projects. So inside of Ascribe, to give you a quick taste, this is your company's dashboard. This is how you manipulate your project section of your website. You quickly see, here's my 4 most recent projects. You can click any of those to swap out pictures. You can choose to add or share pictures with other companies. It is a collective, collaborative tool, so you can see how other companies are describing that project. You can also choose to share photographs with them or use their shared photographs, or you of course can mark them private. On the right hand side, you can get a quick view of what's happening live with your portfolio with the View Portfolio button. It takes you live to your website to see any changes you just made. And brand management section that shows you, I've got 30 projects in my portfolio, and there are 337 websites showing off my link and logo. And that's where you start to get some idea of what can happen with Ascribe as it pertains to your website. So what are you really doing with Ascribe? You're really putting your project information into something that's far more broadcastable and configurable. You compare it to what you do now. You put your website up and you put some projects up there, and a lot of times they're out of date extremely fast because often it's a pain to get them changed and modified. With Ascribe, you're still doing the same function, but now that information is in a format that can be reused on many other portal sites, many other directory sites, as well as other companies if you set that information to share, which I'll tell you that the majority of architects, engineers, surprisingly set most of their information to share if it didn't cost them anything for the data. But even so, the AIA is plugging into this, the ABC, the green associations, architects, subcontractors, product suppliers, city and state websites are all plugging into Ascribe and showing off projects in their area or by their members. And again, it just amplifies your project experience on the web. So really, having a website without Ascribe is like putting up an expensive billboard in your driveway. The only way someone's going to see it is if you give them your address. Ascribe moves that billboard for the AEC industry to the freeway and gets qualified direct traffic to your website. Otherwise, the big question is, why have a website without traffic?